Welcome to this Worldview Moment. I'll be your host for this segment, Barbara Holmes Brackett. A worldview is another word for personal perspective. It's a lens through which we view the world. It's your way of seeing yourself, other people, and the world around you. It dictates how you answer life's pressing questions like how the world began, what is truth, and how should we treat one another. Everyone has one, but no two of them are exactly alike. More often than not, our worldviews are shaped by our life experiences. But a Christian worldview is not based on personal understanding. A Christian worldview is a biblical worldview, meaning it approaches its life's big questions from the perspective of the Bible and considers it to be the ultimate source of truth. In the book of Proverbs, God promises that if we put aside what we see with our eyes and trust in Him fully, He will take care of us. That is the basis of a Christian worldview. Worldview can be broken down into different disciplines or categories of thought that try to answer different questions about life on earth. It's typically divided into 10 sections: theology, philosophy, ethics, biology, psychology, sociology, law, politics, economics, and history. That list is quite a mouthful, I know, but each discipline is vital to how we perceive the world around us. Here's a brief summary of each one. Theology asks if God exists and what He's like if He does. Christianity believes in the descriptions of God detailed in the Bible. There is only one, and He's always good. Philosophy studies how we decide what is true. Christians believe that God is the ultimate judge of truth and that there is more to life than what we can see. Ethics asks how we should act towards ourselves and toward others. Christianity believes that God demonstrates how we should behave through His Son, Jesus, and the rules of behavior never change. Biology studies life's origin, operation, and composition. A Christian worldview rejects theories like Darwinian evolution, instead believing that God created the earth and its life forms as we see them today, and that no part of their design is random. Psychology observes mental activity, including mental illness. Christians view the brain and the body as two separate things. They believe mental illness is a byproduct of our sinful nature and that God can heal any kind of ailment, physical or otherwise. Sociology studies our social behavior. Christianity believes we influence how our society functions, and we are responsible for creating healthy societies through our participation in our families, the church, and the state. Law establishes the rules and principles that govern our communities. Christianity believes that God has revealed a framework for law in His Word, and that we should behave within the boundaries He has set for us. Politics studies how to govern effectively. Christianity finds that constitutional forms of government align with Christian principles the most because God Himself demonstrates judicial, legislative, and executive characteristics in the Bible. Economics questions how we should manage material goods. Capitalism appears to be the monetary system most in line with God's views of justice, resourcefulness, like owning private property, being charitable, and taking care of their possessions. Finally, history studies events over time, namely those involving people. Christianity bases its knowledge of past events on the Bible. They see it as an accurate and reliable way to trace back to man's origin, downfall, and redemption. They believe everything happens for a reason, and that good will eventually triumph over evil. We each have to choose how to answer life's pressing questions. We have to abide by a worldview, and that is a form of self-governance. Self-governance is another way of saying that we are all responsible for our actions. From a young age, what we choose to believe leads us to do what we do, and in the end, we all have to be held accountable. But what is the right way to live? Well, what's so neat about Christianity is that we don't have to spend our lives guessing. God has gifted us with His living, breathing Word as the ultimate manual for prosperity. It is the only reliable source of truth that we have. And when we commit ourselves to seeing life through God's perspective, the answers become always clear. The first step towards a Christian worldview is deciding to receive God's salvation. Asking Christ to be your personal Lord and Savior, put yourself under protection of His Word, and submitting to His worldview will bring you peace in this world and the next. But it's not enough to just believe in Him. You have to be a doer of His Word too. In James, he says that the one who looks at the perfect will and law of freedom, God's law, and remains committed to it will be blessed in what he does. James 1:22-25. How we choose to govern ourselves is a deliberate action. We must purpose in our hearts to listen to God's teachings, to make His worldview our own, and then to live our lives by those principles. We have to decide not only to think like Christ, but act like Him.